The massive research vessel hung silently in the darkness of space, its smooth, pale blue hull absorbing, rather than reflecting light. Inside the main observation deck, Commander Rel stared at the holographic display of the third planet from the yellow star. Earth, as its inhabitants called it. Fascinating creatures, Rel said, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he zoomed in on a crowded human city. So small and soft, yet they've spread across their entire world. Beside him, Science Officer Tellis adjusted her breathing mask and sighed. And they fight constantly. Look at these radiation readings from their last century. They nearly destroyed themselves multiple times. Rel and Tellis were members of the Varan Confederation, an alliance of 7 species from neighboring star systems. The Varans themselves resembled tall, slender humanoids with light blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and 2 sets of breathing slits on their necks. They had evolved as prey species on their respective worlds, developing intelligence as a defense mechanism. The concept of predatory intelligence was both fascinating and terrifying to them. That's why High Command sent us, Rel said. We need to understand them before they develop space travel. The readings suggest they're close. For 3 months, the Varan ship observed Earth from beyond the range of human detection systems. They monitored communications, studied military movements, and built a database of human behavior. The more they learned, the more concerned they became. One morning, as Rel was reviewing overnight reports in his quarters, Lieutenant Mox rushed in without announcing himself. A serious breach of Varan protocol. Commander, we intercepted something important, Mox said, his voice tight with excitement. The humans are moving a new weapon type to a testing facility. Based on their security protocols, it appears to be something unprecedented. Rel's upper eyes narrowed while his lower ones widened, the Varan expression of intense interest. Show me. In the command center, Mox played an intercepted transmission between human military bases. The humans spoke of final testing phase and deployment readiness for something called Project Rainmaker. Their encryption was strong, Mox explained, but we picked up the transport route. A single ground vehicle, minimal escort. They're being secretive even from their own people. Rel paced the smooth floor, his 4-fingered hands clasped behind his back. The Varan Confederation's primary directive was observation only, no interference with developing species. But their secondary directive was to assess potential threats to galactic stability. If this weapon represents a significant advancement in human warfare capability, Rel said slowly, we have a duty to understand it. Science Officer Tellis, who had joined them in the command center, shook her head. The directive forbids direct contact. Not contact, Rel clarified. Acquisition of a sample. We can send a stealth drone. The humans need never know. After hours of debate, the mission was approved. The Varans selected their smallest stealth craft, piloted by Lieutenant Mox with 2 security specialists. They would descend during Earth's night cycle, intercept the transport vehicle in a remote area, extract a single weapon unit, and return to the ship. Remember, Rel instructed as the team prepared to depart, absolute minimum interaction. If detected, abort immediately. We're scientists, not warriors. Mox nodded, his expression solemn. We'll be as quiet as ghost particles, Commander. The small craft departed, its advanced cloaking system bending light around its hull. It descended through Earth's atmosphere without triggering any human detection systems and hovered above a desert road in what humans called the southwestern United States. From their vantage point, they watched a simple truck with military markings driving alone on the empty road. Scans confirmed it carried several metal containers with unusual energy signatures. That must be it, Mox whispered, though no human could possibly hear him. Deploying extraction drone. A small disc-shaped device detached from their craft and silently approached the moving truck. Using precision tools, it cut through the vehicle's roof without the driver noticing, extracted a metal cylinder approximately 30 centimeters long, and returned to the stealth craft. Acquisition complete. Mox reported back to the main ship. No signs of detection. Returning now. The journey back was uneventful. The stealth craft docked in the main ship's hangar bay, where a team in protective suits waited to receive the human weapon. They placed it in a containment field and transported it to the high-security laboratory. Commander Rel met them there, his posture rigid with anticipation. "Show me what the humans have created." The containment field hummed softly as it lowered, revealing a simple metal cylinder with minimal markings. It had a small lever on top and some writing on the side. "This is it?" Rel asked, expecting something more impressive. "Are we certain this is the weapon?" Dr. Tellis approached the cylinder, scanning it with various instruments. "Confirmed, Commander. It contains a complex mixture of chemicals. The energy signature matches what we detected. This is definitely what they were transporting with such security." "It seems so. Primitive," Rel observed. "Run a complete analysis. I want to know exactly what this device does and why the humans value it so highly." The science team began their work, carefully documenting every aspect of the cylinder without activating it. They discovered it had a simple mechanical triggering system and contained pressurized contents. "Perhaps its simplicity is intentional," suggested Vin, a junior researcher with a reputation for unconventional thinking. "Maybe it's designed to be used by their least trained warriors." Rel considered this. "Or perhaps its effectiveness doesn't rely on technological sophistication." As night fell and most of the crew entered their rest cycle, Rel remained in his office, reviewing the preliminary findings. Something about this human weapon troubled him deeply. It didn't seem designed for maximum physical damage like most weapons. Its purpose remained elusive. The next morning, as Rel entered the laboratory, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The emergency communication system activated. "Commander Rel to the bridge immediately," came the urgent voice of the first officer. "Human detection systems have become active. They're scanning this sector of space." Rel's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in sequence, the Varen sign of alarm. Had they been discovered? Was their mission compromised? As he rushed toward the bridge, one thought remained fixed in his mind. They needed to understand this weapon before any potential confrontation with humans. If this simple cylinder was important enough for such security, what did it reveal about humanity's true capabilities? Little did Rel know, the true horror was not in the weapon's destructive power, but in what it revealed about the species that created it. Commander Rel rushed onto the bridge, his long strides carrying him swiftly through the sliding doors. The main screen showed Earth below them, with several blinking red dots indicating active radar installations. "Report," Rel ordered, his voice steady despite his concern. First Officer Lom turned from her station. "Human military installations have activated high-powered scanning equipment. They appear to be conducting a standard search pattern, not focused on our position." "Cause?" Rel asked. "Unknown," Lom replied. "But the timing suggests they may have noticed something during our extraction mission." Rel considered their options. The ship's cloaking technology should keep them hidden, but remaining in orbit increased their risk of detection. "Move us to the dark side of their moon," he decided. "We'll continue our analysis from there." As the ship quietly repositioned, Rel returned to the laboratory where Dr. Tellis and her team were studying the human weapon. The metal cylinder sat in the center of the room, surrounded by scanning equipment and curious Varen scientists. "What have you learned?" Rel asked. Dr. Tellis gestured toward a large display showing the internal structure of the cylinder. "It's puzzling, Commander. The device contains a pressurized mixture of chemicals, primarily something the humans call 2-chlorobenzolmalonitrile." "What does it do?" Rel asked. "That's the strange part," Tellis said, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of confusion. "It's not explosive in the conventional sense. The chemicals are designed to become airborne when the device is activated." "A gas weapon," Rel suggested. "Yes, but not like anything in our records," Tellis said. "The strange thing is how simple it is. By our standards, it's almost primitive." Vin, the junior researcher, stepped forward hesitantly. "Commander, I noticed something unusual in the design." "Go ahead," Rel encouraged. "The device has a manual activation system. This small lever," Vin pointed to a piece on top of the cylinder. "Once activated, it has a short delay, then releases its contents in all directions." "What's unusual about that?" Rel asked. "The user would be affected by the weapon's output unless they immediately fled the area," Vin explained. "It's as if the weapon is designed with the user's exposure in mind." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Varens had always designed weapons to protect their users. The idea of a weapon that might harm its operator was disturbing. "Perhaps it's meant to be thrown," suggested another scientist. "The activation requires precise finger manipulation," Vin countered. "It's designed to be held when activated." Dr. Tellis shook her head. "This makes no sense. Why would humans create a weapon that endangers its user?" Rel studied the weapon thoughtfully. "Perhaps we're missing something. Humans evolved as predators, not prey like us. Their approach to warfare may be fundamentally different." Over the next day, the science team continued their analysis. They discovered that the cylinder was called a tear gas grenade in human military communications, but the purpose of such a device remained unclear. "We need to understand its effects," Rel finally decided. "Prepare a controlled activation test." The testing chamber was prepared with multiple sensors to capture every aspect of the weapon's deployment. The team placed the cylinder in the center of the room and set up remote activation. "Containment fields at maximum," Dr. Tellis reported. "Air filtration systems active. We're ready to begin." From the safety of the observation room, Rel gave the order. "Activate the weapon." A mechanical arm reached out and pulled the lever on top of the cylinder. After a brief delay, the device released a cloud of white gas that quickly filled the testing chamber. "Chemical composition confirmed," reported a technician. "No explosive damage detected." "Then what is its purpose?" Rel wondered aloud. Vin was studying a different set of readings. "Commander, the chemical appears to target specific pain receptors. It's designed to cause suffering rather than physical damage." A chill spread through the room. The Varens had evolved to flee from danger, not to inflict unnecessary pain. Their own weapons were designed for quick, efficient defense, never to cause extended suffering. "You mean the humans created this specifically to cause pain?" Rel asked, his voice low. "Yes," Vin confirmed. "And based on these molecular structures, it would be particularly effective on mucous membranes, eyes, nose, mouth. Maximum discomfort with minimal permanent damage." Before anyone could respond, warning lights flashed in the testing chamber. The containment field was fluctuating. "What's happening?" Rel demanded. "The gas has properties we didn't anticipate," Dr. Tellis said, frantically working at her control panel. "It's creating microscopic particles that are affecting the containment field stability." "Strengthen the field," Rel ordered. "We're trying, but..." The containment field flickered and collapsed. Alarm sirens blared as the ship's systems detected the foreign substance entering the ventilation system. "Seal the lab," Rel shouted. "Emergency protocols now." Thick barriers slammed down around the laboratory section, but not before some of the gas escaped into adjacent corridors. Within seconds, the emergency communication system came alive with reports of crew members in distress. "Medical teams to decks 3 and 4, came the urgent call. "Multiple personnel affected by unknown agent." Rel and Dr. Tellis raced to the medical bay, where several Varens were being treated. They writhed in obvious pain, their 4 eyes swollen shut, fluid streaming from their breathing slits. "What's happening to them?" Rel asked the chief medical officer. "The chemical is attacking their sensory organs," the doctor explained. "It's causing extreme pain responses without significant tissue damage. I've never seen anything like it." Rel watched in horror as his crew suffered. The realization hit him like a physical blow. This weapon wasn't designed to kill. It was designed to incapacitate through pain. "Why?" he whispered. "Why would anyone create such a thing?" Dr. Tellis stood beside him, her voice shaking slightly. "Commander, I think we need to reconsider our understanding of humans. If this is a standard weapon in their arsenal, then what else have they created?" Rel finished her thought. As the medical team worked to ease the suffering of the affected crew, Rel made a decision. "Dr. Tellis, I want a complete investigation into human weapons history. If this relatively simple device can cause such effects, we need to know what else they're capable of." Little did Rel know that their discovery was just the beginning. The true nature of human warfare would prove far more terrifying than they could possibly imagine. The medical bay was filled with the soft hum of treatment machines as Commander Rel stepped through the doorway. 12 crew members lay on beds, their blue skin now pale and their breathing labored. The ship's doctor moved between them, adjusting medications and checking vital signs. "How are they?" Rel asked quietly. "They'll recover," the doctor said. "But I've never seen pain responses like this. Some of them couldn't even speak when they first arrived." Rel's 4 eyes blinked slowly in sequence, a sign of deep distress among the Varens. The weapon they had stolen, this tear gas, had caused more harm than they expected, and it was considered a minor weapon by human standards. "Commander," a voice called from the doorway. Rel turned to see Lieutenant Mox, who had led the mission to retrieve the weapon. "High Command is requesting an update." Rel nodded. "Tell them I'll contact them immediately." In his private communication chamber, Rel faced the large screen displaying 3 senior Varan officials. Their expressions were grave as Rel reported what had happened. "So this weapon causes pain without significant physical damage?" asked Director Fell, the highest-ranking official. "Yes, Director," Rel confirmed. "It appears designed specifically to incapacitate through suffering." "Barbaric," muttered another official. Director Fell leaned forward. "Commander Rel, this discovery raises serious concerns about human warfare capabilities. If they've developed weapons specifically to cause pain." "I understand, Director," Rel said. "I've ordered a comprehensive analysis of human weapons history." "Accelerate your research," Director Fell ordered. "The humans must not detect your presence, but we need to understand their full capabilities before they develop space travel." "Yes, Director." After the communication ended, Rel went directly to the research center, where Dr. Tellis and her team were reviewing human data. Large screens displayed images and text from Earth's information networks. "What have you found?" Rel asked. Dr. Tellis looked up, her expression troubled. "Commander, the tear gas is considered one of their more humane weapons. It's classified as non-lethal and is often used for crowd control against their own species." "Non-lethal," Rel repeated. "You mean they have an entire category of weapons designed not to kill but to cause suffering?" "Yes, and it gets worse," Tellis continued. "We've been analyzing their military history, and—" She paused, struggling to find words. "Show me," Rel said. The main screen filled with images that made the entire research team fall silent. Battlefields covered with injured humans, cities reduced to rubble, devices called landmines that waited underground to explode when stepped on, often long after conflicts had ended. "They call this one napalm," Tellis explained, pointing to an image of a burning human settlement. "It's a flammable gel that sticks to organic matter and continues burning. It's designed to be difficult to extinguish." Rel stared at the screen, trying to comprehend the mindset that would create such weapons. "And this is all from their history." "Some are current," Tellis said. "But look at this." She changed the display to show a massive explosion shaped like a mushroom cloud. "They call these nuclear weapons. They've only used them twice in warfare, but they've built thousands." "What's their purpose?" Rel asked, though he feared the answer. "Total destruction," Vin said from his station. "A single device can destroy an entire city and make the area uninhabitable for years. The radiation causes painful death and birth defects for generations." The room fell silent as the Varens tried to process this information. Their species had evolved as prey, developing intelligence and technology as defensive measures. The concept of creating weapons specifically for mass destruction was alien to their thinking. "There's something else," Vin added hesitantly. "I've been studying their psychological profiles, and I've noticed a pattern." "Go on," Rel encouraged. "Humans evolved as predators," Vin explained. "Unlike us, they didn't develop intelligence primarily for defense. They developed it to become better hunters." "We knew this," Tellus said. "Yes, but I don't think we understood the implications," Vin continued. "Their entire approach to warfare is different. For us, conflict is about protection and survival. For humans, it can also be about dominance and intimidation." Rel considered this. "You're saying they create weapons that cause suffering because they want their enemies to suffer?" "Not exactly," Vin said. "I think they create weapons that cause suffering because they understand suffering can be more effective than death for achieving their goals. Pain is a tool to them." The implications chilled everyone in the room. The Varans had always assumed that any intelligent species would evolve beyond unnecessary cruelty. The humans challenged this fundamental belief. "There's more," Dr. Tellus said, her voice low. "They have weapons designed to attack only biological systems, diseases they've modified to be more deadly." "Biological weapons," Rel murmured. "And they've developed chemical agents that attack the nervous system, causing paralysis and death through suffocation while the victim remains fully conscious." Rel turned away from the screen, needing a moment to collect himself. The violence humans inflicted on each other defied Varan understanding. "Commander," a voice came through the communication system. "We're detecting unusual activity from Earth. Multiple launch facilities have become active." Rel rushed to the bridge, where First Officer Lom was monitoring Earth's activities. "What's happening?" he demanded. "The humans have launched several rockets," Lom reported. "They appear to be deploying new satellites. Some are equipped with advanced scanning technology." "Can they detect us?" "Not yet," Lom said. "But their technology is improving rapidly. If they continue at this pace, how long before our presence is at risk?" Lom's 4 eyes blinked in the pattern indicating uncertainty. "Days, perhaps. Their rate of advancement exceeds our projections." Rel made a quick decision. "Contact High Command. Request permission to withdraw to a safer observation distance." As the communication was sent, Rel stared at the image of Earth on the main screen. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from this distance. It was hard to believe that such a beautiful world harbored beings capable of creating weapons designed specifically to maximize suffering. "Commander," Dr. Tellus said from beside him, "if humans ever develop space travel and encounter other species—" "I know," Rel said quietly. "May the stars help any world that becomes their enemy." Behind them, on a secondary screen, images from Earth's history continued to play, silent testament to humanity's capacity for both creation and destruction. The Varans had come seeking knowledge about a potential new species in the galactic community. Instead, they had discovered something their civilization had never encountered before: a predator with the intelligence to reach the stars. The Varan ship moved silently away from Earth's moon, retreating to a safer distance. From the observation deck, Commander Rel watched as the blue planet grew smaller on the main screen. His mind was filled with troubling images of human warfare. "Permission to enter, Commander." Rel turned to see Vin standing in the doorway. The young researcher looked tired, his blue skin slightly paler than normal. "Come in," Rel said. "Have you found something new?" Vin approached hesitantly. "Yes, Commander. I've been reviewing more of the human historical records, and I've discovered something disturbing. More disturbing than what we've already seen." Rel asked, finding it hard to imagine. "It's about how humans view weapons," Vin explained. "They have international agreements called conventions that limit what weapons they can use in war." "That sounds positive," Rel said. "At least they recognize some boundaries." "That's just it, Commander," Vin said, his voice dropping. The existence of these agreements means they've considered even worse weapons, and sometimes they ignore their own rules. Vin activated a small display device showing images of human conflicts. This chemical weapon is banned, but some nations still use it. This explosive is prohibited because it leaves fragments that can't be detected by medical equipment, making it impossible to treat the wounded properly. Rel watched in silence. The concept of designing weapons specifically to make injuries untreatable was alien to Varen thinking. There's more, Vin continued. They've developed psychological warfare, methods to break the enemy's mind rather than their body. You mean like torture? Rel asked. That and more subtle methods, Vin said. They use sound as a weapon. Constant noise at specific frequencies to prevent sleep. They use isolation to break mental resilience. They've studied how to maximize psychological damage. Rel turned away from the images. And they used these methods against their own species. Primarily, yes, Vin confirmed. Though we found evidence they would consider using them against any potential extraterrestrial threat. Before Rel could respond, the ship's communication system activated. Commander Rel to the research laboratory immediately. Emergency situation. Rel and Vin rushed to the lab, where Dr. Tellis and her team were gathered around a large screen displaying new data. We've completed our psychological profile of humans, Tellis said without preamble. The results are unexpected. Explain, Rel ordered. We've been approaching this from the wrong perspective, Tellis said. We've been assuming humans are exceptionally violent for an intelligent species, but that's not quite accurate. She displayed a series of images showing humans caring for the sick, building homes after disasters, and rescuing animals. Humans show remarkable compassion, even toward other species. They create art, music, and literature that celebrate peace and unity. I don't understand, Rel said. How does this connect to their weapons? That's the key insight, Tellis explained. Humans have a profound capacity for both compassion and cruelty. They can design weapons to maximize suffering, but they also create technologies to minimize it. They fight devastating wars, then devote enormous resources to rebuilding what they destroyed. Vin stepped forward. It's their dual nature that makes them dangerous, Commander. They're not predictable. A purely violent species would be easier to understand. Our analysis suggests, Tellis continued, that humans develop their capacity for violence as predators, but their capacity for cooperation as social creatures. Both traits evolve together, creating a species capable of extreme behaviors in either direction. Rel struggled to comprehend this contradiction. The Varens, like most intelligent species in the Confederation, had evolved along a more consistent path. They had always been prey animals, developing intelligence primarily for defense and cooperation. So what does this mean for our assessment? Rel asked. It means humans are more dangerous than we initially believed, Tellis said gravely. Not because they're inherently violent, but because they're adaptable. They can justify almost any action if they believe it serves their survival or their principles. The discussion was interrupted by an urgent call from the bridge. Commander, we're detecting an unusual energy spike from Earth. Rel rushed to the bridge, where First Officer Lom was monitoring the situation. Report, Rel demanded. The humans have activated a new type of radar system, Lom explained. It's using quantum principles we didn't expect them to discover for at least another decade. Their technological advancement is accelerating. Can they detect us at this distance? Not yet, Lom said, but their progress is remarkable. At this rate, they'll develop reliable space travel within 5 years, not 20 as we predicted. Rel turned to his communication officer. Contact High Command. We need to report these findings immediately. Within an hour, the Varen leadership had convened an emergency session. On the main screen, Director Fell and the High Council listened as Rel presented their discoveries about human weapons and psychology. Based on these findings, Rel concluded, we recommend classifying humans as a Class 1 threat. A murmur spread through the council. No species had ever been given this designation. It had been created theoretically for a civilization that was both technologically advanced and fundamentally dangerous to others. "This is unprecedented," Director Fell said. "Class 1 designation would require establishing a containment protocol around Earth's solar system." "With respect, Director," Rel said, "containment may not be possible. Humans are advancing too quickly. If they develop faster than light travel before we establish proper measures." "Are you suggesting preemptive action?" another council member asked, the Veron equivalent of raising eyebrows. "No," Rel said firmly. "I'm suggesting we reconsider our entire approach. Humans aren't like us. They don't think like us. Their predatory origins have given them a perspective that's fundamentally different from anything in the Confederation." "Different how?" Director Fell asked. "They see conflict as sometimes necessary, even beneficial," Rel explained. "They have a concept called creative destruction. The idea that breaking down old systems allows new ones to emerge. This shapes everything from their economics to their warfare." The council fell silent, contemplating the implications. Finally, Director Fell spoke. "Commander Rel, your discovery of this human weapon may have revealed the most significant challenge our Confederation has ever faced. Not because of the weapon itself, but because of what it tells us about human nature." "What are your orders, Director?" Rel asked. "Maintain your observation position, but prepare for immediate withdrawal if detected. We need time to develop a comprehensive response to the human question." As the communication ended, Rel returned to the observation deck. Earth was now just a small blue dot on the screen, beautiful and seemingly peaceful from this distance. "They'll reach the stars soon," Vin said, having joined Rel on the deck. "And when they do, the galaxy will never be the same," Rel finished. 6 months passed since the Varen research vessel's retreat from Earth. During that time, Commander Rel had been promoted to Director of Human Studies, leading a new division created specifically to monitor and understand the emerging threat that humanity posed to galactic peace. Today, Rel stood before the Grand Council chamber on the Varen homeworld. Representatives from all 7 species of the Confederation had gathered for this historic meeting. The chamber was designed as a series of concentric circles, with delegates seated according to their species. The lighting was kept dim to accommodate the various visual sensitivities of the member races. Director Rel, announced the council leader, an elderly Veran with pale blue skin, "Please present your findings on the human situation." Rel stepped to the center of the chamber. Above him, a large holographic display activated, showing Earth's solar system. "Esteemed council members," Rel began, "6 months ago, our research team discovered a weapon of human design. What began as a simple analysis mission has revealed the most significant threat our Confederation has encountered in its 1,000-year history." Rel gestured, and the display showed images of Earth's rapidly developing technology, rockets launching, new satellites deploying, advanced reactors being constructed. "Human technological development has continued to accelerate beyond our projections," Rel explained. "They have already established permanent bases on their moon and are preparing for missions to the 4th planet in their system." Murmurs spread through the chamber. One delegate from a reptilian species stood. "Director, we've monitored many developing civilizations. What makes these humans uniquely dangerous?" "Their psychology," Rel answered simply. "Most spacefaring species in our records evolved from prey animals or peaceful herbivores. Our intelligence developed primarily as a defense mechanism or a means of cooperation." The display changed to show human history, the rise and fall of empires, global wars, and moments of both tremendous cruelty and remarkable compassion. "Humans evolved as predators," Rel continued. "Their intelligence developed not just for defense, but for hunting. This gives them a fundamentally different approach to technology and conflict." Another delegate spoke up. "Are you suggesting we take preemptive action against a species that has not yet left their own solar system?" "No," Rel said firmly. "I am suggesting we prepare for all possibilities. The traditional containment protocols may be insufficient for humans. The chamber erupted in debate. Some delegates argued for establishing a quarantine zone around Earth's solar system. Others proposed initiating diplomatic contact to guide human development. A few even suggested more drastic measures. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Tellis approached Rel and whispered urgently in his ear. Rel's 4 eyes widened in alarm. "Council leader," Rel called out, silencing the chamber. "I've just received critical information. Our observation outpost near Earth has detected an energy signature we've never seen before. The humans have activated something in their asteroid belt." The council leader leaned forward. "Explain." "It appears to be." Rel hesitated, almost unable to believe the report. "It appears to be a prototype faster than light drive." Stunned silence fell over the chamber. FTL technology was the threshold for galactic citizenship, the point at which a species could no longer be contained to their home system. "Impossible," said one delegate. "Our projections gave them at least 30 more years before FTL capability." "The evidence is clear," Rel responded, displaying the data. "They've done in months what took our species centuries. And there's more." The display changed to show multiple launch facilities on Earth becoming active. "They're preparing to test the drive," Rel explained. "Our sensors detect multiple vessels under construction. They're not just building one ship, they're building a fleet." The council leader's voice was grave. "Director Rel, what do you recommend?" Before Rel could answer, the chamber's emergency alert system activated. A technician rushed in. "Council leader, human vessels have activated their drives. They're already leaving their solar system." The main display showed several small ships moving at incredible speeds, far faster than should have been possible for such a young civilization. "Track their course," the council leader ordered. "That's the strange part," the technician replied. "They're not heading toward any Confederation worlds. They're moving in different directions, outward into unexplored space." Rel studied the trajectories. "They're exploring," he realized, "not invading." The council debated frantically about how to respond. Some wanted to intercept the human ships. Others argued for immediate diplomatic contact. A few even suggested destroying the vessels before they could return to Earth with whatever they discovered. Amidst the chaos, Vin approached Rel. The young researcher had also been promoted, joining the Human Studies Division. "Director," Vin said quietly, "I've been analyzing the communication signals from the human ships. They're broadcasting a message over and over, on all frequencies." "What kind of message?" Rel asked. "A greeting," Vin said, sounding surprised. "And an invitation for peaceful contact. They're announcing themselves to the galaxy." Rel considered this information. Everything they had learned about human weapons and warfare suggested a dangerous species. Yet here they were, reaching out with a message of peace as their first act upon leaving their solar system. The council leader called for order. "Director Rel, your final recommendation." Rel stepped forward, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "We cannot predict humans. That is what makes them dangerous and potentially valuable. I recommend cautious diplomatic contact, but with our fleet at full readiness." After hours of debate, the council approved Rel's plan. A delegation would be sent to meet the human explorers, with warships hidden nearby as a precaution. Later that evening, Rel stood in his private quarters, looking at a small object on his desk, the tear gas canister that had started everything. Beside it lay something he had recently acquired. A human child's toy, a small figure of a human wearing what they called a spacesuit. The same species that creates weapons to cause suffering also creates toys to inspire their children to reach the stars, he murmured to himself. Vin entered after a respectful chime. "The delegation ship is ready, Director. The Council has appointed you to lead the first contact team." Rel picked up the toy astronaut. "In all our history, we've never encountered a species like humans. They create terrible weapons, yet they dream of peaceful exploration. They fight devastating wars among themselves, Yet they reach out with messages of friendship. What do you think will happen when we meet them? Vin asked. Rel's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, the Veron expression of thoughtful uncertainty. I don't know. And that, perhaps, is the most important thing we've learned about humans. They are unpredictable. They could be the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known, or its most unexpected protectors. As Rel prepared to depart on his historic mission, he knew one thing with certainty. The galaxy was about to change forever. The species that had created weapons designed to cause pain had also created ships designed to carry dreams across the stars. What that contradiction meant for the future of all intelligent life remained to be seen.